Scrappy went home with Tommy last night after he and Allison stopped by for dinner. So it's just me and June Pup today. She gets all the frisbee throws. I went out to start up the Suburban, let it warm up this morning, and load up all the parts that we need to take up to Uncle Bob's. The brand new Lunati crank, Tommy's cylinder heads, and his pistons and connecting rods. Then me and June Pup hit the road. We got about 4.5 inches or so of snow down here where we're at, but Bob is about 45 minutes northeast of our place. The roads down here are still slushy, messy, but passable and fairly safe as long as we take our time. June and I stopped by the gas station in Granville and cleaned the windows on the Suburban because it's hard to take any video out the windows with dirty windows. I filled up the Suburban with gas, and me and June Pup hit the road headed northeast. While we're in town, June Pup stays pretty attentive, but once we're out in the country, not so much. She usually just falls asleep until we hit the stop signs and traffic lights. And once we got just north of Granville on 661, I come across this semi stranded on top of a hill. That got June Pup's attention. She didn't understand that one. Anyway, me and June Pup rolled into Uncle Bob's up there just before lunch. And we pulled into the lot. I thought, boy, it looks like they got a little bit more snow up here than we got down home. Anyway, me and June Pup sneak in the back door and go in and say hi to Uncle Bob and everybody working in the shop. And boy, is that shop busy. He can't fit not even one more car in the service side, and the machine shop is just as busy. Anything and everything in there, from small block Fords to big block Chevys and Cummins diesels. It's Uncle Bob.
Hey! Hey! Get the dog!
June Pup came. I walked in and took a quick peek inside the assembly room before Bob told me to back the Suburban up to the back door. He'll open the door and we'll unload these parts and go to lunch. You don't have to ask me twice. We backed up, unloaded the stuff, and took a little scenic drive up to Danville to get some lunch. I try to never miss an opportunity to take Bob to lunch and have a little conversation with him from time to time. I always learn something new. We get back to shop and I snuck into the dyno room to peep on this little small block Chevy he's got. And then we start unpacking this brand new Lunati crankshaft. I want Bob to check this thing out and measure the journals to make sure that it's the right crankshaft for this block that Tommy has. Small block Chevy crankshafts come in 2 main journal diameters, a 350 main and a 400 main, and Tommy's block happens to be a 400 main. So we need to measure these main journals just to make sure this crank is right for Tommy's block. Bob carefully checks the main journals with a micrometer, and they measure right on where they need to be. This is a really nice crankshaft, and we're very thankful that somebody sent this thing to us to help us replace parts that got tore up during the dyno session. Next, Bob chucks a connecting rod and a piston up in the vise and mics the outside diameter of the piston skirt. And we check that in relation to the bore diameter.
So let's see, it measures 56. I've measured all these and they all measure 56. So we'll put a hard freshen up hone on it.
Now here's the situation that we're in. This block is already 30 over. And generally, what Bob likes to do is bore a block out to within 3/1000ths of its finish hone diameter. That gives Bob 3/1000ths of finish honing to finish out the cylinder wall with perfect RA, or roughness average measurements. These measurements are made in micrometers or micro inches. The crosshatch, or the roughness in the cylinder walls, is there for a reason. It allows the cylinder walls to trap oil that lubricates the piston skirts. This oil film on the cylinder walls also helps the ring seal. Now, the problem is once that's gone, you lose ring seal and you lose lubrication for the piston skirts. So what Bob's up against is trying to put a finish hone on this engine without having to bore it out to the next oversize. so he has to be very careful how he finish hones this engine, seeing how it's a turbo application and a lot of boost. If it goes too big, the pistons will rock in the bore and you lose ring seal.
We'll make it work.
So once me and June Pup got done up at the machine shop with Uncle Bob, we head back to the house, just in time for the snow to start melting as the temperature starts to rise. I go in to check with Miss Vicky and see what she's up to. All right, squirrely locks. Well, you're looking hot today.
The beauty of working from home. Jammy pants in January. It's a whole month of it.
Oh. So I went up and saw Uncle Bob, dropped the parts off. He said the crank looks good, the block looks good, the pistons look good, even the connecting rods still look good, but we're going to put new connecting rods in it anyway.
Probably a good idea.
So what's new with you today? Did you see my new logos up?
I do. I like it.
You like it?
I think I like that better than the first one. I like the 55
Yeah, I do too.
and that. Yeah. Very cool. I like the stars because I know you're pretty patriotic. So.
Right.
I know come summertime you'll probably have some sort of a patriotic something.
Maybe.
But yeah, the stars fit. The 55 fits. I like the font. Like, looks good.
So she's going to try and get me some pricing on our first stuff, the merchandise, and she has finally talked me into doing shirts and hoodies.
Okay.
So are we going to Restoration World this weekend?
Yeah.
You're not going to drag your feet?
No.
Oh, it's for you. That's
I
why.
want to go see stuff.
All right, so I'm
Does
gonna,
it involve
uh-oh.
some shiny stuff?
Well, it might.
I'll bring a clipboard and a pen and make a list.
I already made a list.
Well, I'm going to make my list.
Oh, good grief.
Well, then we'll compare and we'll see if my list adds up to yours.
After I got done harassing Vicky in the house, I thought I'd go out and check on Kenny and see how he's doing in the shop. Now, Kenny doesn't need a babysitter. I don't even have to tell Kenny what he needs to do. Kenny just picks up and does on his own. And such was the case today. I come out in the shop and Kenny's working on the 64, sweeping all the rust out and cleaning up socket sets. He managed to piece together almost every single socket set in my race car toolbox that had 1 million sockets missing. Now, I don't have the patience to do this kind of stuff. I get frustrated because the sockets should already be back in the toolbox. So I just told Kenny, whatever's not a complete set, take them home with you and I'll buy new. But instead of doing that, Kenny dug through every old socket set he could find out in the shop until he had pieced almost all my socket sets back together so I didn't have to buy new ones. Now, I've known for a long time that Kenny is a very genuine person, and he shares the same passion for my goals as I do. It's evident by everything he does out in my shop. Kenny even stayed late tonight and helped me pull the dash out of Vicky's 64 C10. Half the dash lights were out of it, so we took the thing out and figured out what was going on with that. I had to run into the house for a little bit to work on some editing for this video, and when I left, Kenny was still out there working on that green Chevy pickup. But when I came back from the house, he had dug into another project. Kenny Powers, smiling like a Chessy cat over here.
Yep.
Tell me what you've done.
We've done the 4 high mod on the front of this.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
So you found that kit laying someplace out here in a mess, right?
Yep.
You found it?
Yep.
And you installed it.
It's installed.
All right, let's check this out. Hang on. Drum roll, please. Low beams. Nice. Nice. Dude, I've always wanted to do this and I've never had the time, never had the opportunity. And actually somebody gave me that kit and I put it in a toolbox and I kind of lost it. Where did you find it?
Black toolbox.
Kenny is constantly cleaning up and organizing things out in the shop. And in doing so, he finds all kinds of things that I forgot that I even had, like this 4 high kit for my dually's headlights. Not only did he put that in, but he cleaned all the simulators, polished the toolboxes, cleaned the grill, bumper, and the glass inside and out. Just so my old junk-looking dually was standing tall. All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. I want to tell you all something. You would not have this channel to watch every day if it wasn't for Kenny, especially right now, because it's very difficult to film yourself working on something and be productive and actually get something done, actually get good footage, to make good content and edit it into a video and get it posted almost every day. It's a lot. Like, I don't usually get to bed until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and I try and get up by 9 or 10, or at least be awake by 9 or 10, and in the shower by 11 and get going. Some days I'm up at 8 or 9, but it wears me down. Sooner or later I get to the point where I just can't get up that early, and I need a day or two to decompress. But I can tell you that none of what I've been doing lately would be possible without Kenny's help. It just would not be possible. And Kenny and Harley have 3 kids. They've come on some hard times here recently with vehicles breaking down, and somebody ran Harley off the road the other day and tore up her Jeep. They've been going through a rough patch. And I know a lot of people have said, you know, they can't wait to buy merchandise, and thank you for that. I don't have the merchandise line up yet, and the biggest reason I want to do the merch line is to help Kenny and Harley, to employ them here full time. We're not there right now. You know, obviously I don't have a merchandise line yet, but we're working on it. I'll get to that in a minute. But between now and February, I think when the merch line drops, you know, Kenny and Harley are trying to stay above water and keep themselves afloat on limited income. So if there was anything anybody could ever do to help my family, help me and Vicky especially, it would be to help Kenny and Harley a little bit. So I'll ask you guys what you think in the comments. If you think it's a good idea, fine. If not, then we'll just drop it. But I'll wait to hear what everybody thinks in the comments about this idea first before I do it. But if you guys feel like it's something that you'd support, I'll post Kenny's PayPal tomorrow on my community page, and I'll make a post about it. But moving on, the merchandise line is something that's kind of special to me. For the longest time, I wasn't going to do it. I had no interest in it, but I really want to do it now because I would like to have plenty to keep Kenny and Harley busy, because I desperately need their help on a regular basis, and it's getting to be more and more. So I talked to Gina tonight, and she's talked me into doing shirts and hoodies and hats. I wasn't originally going to do that, but she feels pretty confident that it would be good. And I didn't want to take anything away from my kids' channels. But I think that there are some people that watch both, but I think there's different, especially with the name change on my channel and the direction my channel's going. I think there's definitely a difference in the majority of followers. So I don't think it's going to hurt Billy. So we're going to go ahead and do shop shirts. I know people have been asking for shop shirts for a long time. And so Gina's working on a design for shop shirts, t-shirts, hoodies. And then we've got some other things coming. Some fender covers, some clocks, workbench mats. I don't want to get too deep into it. There's a lot of things that she's going to pitch to me tomorrow. I should have pricing and availability on this stuff tomorrow. But there's some other things, shop decorations, some vintage looking signs and things like that that are personalized for my channel. And the merchandise line, I don't want it to be about me necessarily at all. I want it to be about old-fashioned values, about friendship, about what hot rodding and street racing and drag racing means to my followers. it means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. Over the years, drag racing has changed and evolved, and hot rodding as well. But there's still a need out there for old crotchety guys like me that know how to tune carburetors and know how to tune without a laptop. And there's a lot of cars like that out here that are still needing someone who can work on them the old way. So the people who follow that and who enjoy that and embrace that kind of culture, if you will, is what I'd like my merchandise line to showcase. Not necessarily me, not necessarily my family, but a lifestyle. So that's what I'm working on, and it's very difficult to come up with because I've never done this for myself. I've helped my kids a little bit here and there, but I've never tried to do something like this for me or myself. So I'm struggling a little bit with that, but I'm trying, and Gina's helping me. But I think it's going to do well eventually once we get it up and going. So the merch line, I should have some information on that tomorrow from Gina. Let's see here. Wednesday, I have a guy coming out to look at lettering Vicky's truck. So he should be here 7 o'clock Wednesday night. That's tomorrow night. And I'm really interested to see about that. I still need to find somebody to pull the windshield out. I called my windshield guy, but he hasn't called me back or hasn't stopped out. So maybe he's not coming. I don't know. Saturday, we're planning on going to Restoration World. Vicky and I, we're going to go take a trip down there and look at door seals and weather stripping and vent wing rubbers and dash parts, floor pans, all kinds of good stuff. And it sounds like she's walking in right now. Uh-oh.
Are you talking about me?
Yeah, I was.
What are you saying?
Well, I was just saying we're getting ready to go Saturday to Restoration World, and I got a list here started.
I'm bringing a clipboard and a list.
All right, well.
I'm going to make a list.
Yeah, and I was just talking.
It's so dirty.
I was working on your truck.
You're filthy.
Well, no. Of course I'm filthy. I was laying on my
Look at
back
me, I'm a
upside down
mess.
underneath the dash.
I'm tired. I think I'm going to bed. I was coming out to say goodnight.
Oh, all right. Well, let me finish up this video so I can come in. I'll go to bed too. I'm just about done.
All right.
Love you.
Love you too.
So, there's some things on the truck that I want to take care of immediately. What are you doing?
I was looking at my truck.
Jeez. So there's some things I want to take care of immediately, like the floor pans have got some bad spots in them. I want to take care of that. I want to look at getting a carpet kit for it. And obviously, I think tomorrow I might try and drop that seat off at the upholstery guy. I need to get that started. Sill plates, carpet kit, glove box, door weather strip, window felts, bump stops for the doors, a dome light lens, and possibly even a new instrument cluster, because the original instrument cluster right here is in pretty bad shape. It's not in very good shape at all. So down the road, we want to look at maybe some chrome bumpers, front and rear, and a chrome grille. But that's later on down the road. My main thing right now is to get the interior cleaned up. We may end up repainting the inside of the cab because it's a little dingy. And someone's just carved that dash out. We jerked that piece of junk radio out of it today, and someone has just demolished the dash in that truck with a chisel or something. So I may have to go to the junkyard and cut a patch panel out of another dash in the junkyard, weld it in this one, and fix it. I don't know yet. We'll have to see how that goes. But so that's going to be about it for today, guys. We greatly appreciate everybody, more than you can possibly imagine. So tomorrow's a new day. Hopefully we'll get this seat dropped off at the upholsterer shop. Talk to Gina a little bit about the merchandise line. maybe make a trip down to see Mark at A1 tomorrow, because I think I've got a sending unit coming in. My brother called tonight and he said he's got that gas tank just about ready to bring back here. So, progress is being made, slowly but surely. And tomorrow night, hopefully I get to see that guy and talk to him about lettering this truck and give him some ideas that I got and see what his ideas are and just see what we come up with. Good night, everybody.